It's clickbait! What we do for the algorithm, ladies and gentlemen. In this video, I'm not going to teach you how to see auras, but I'm going to help you understand the 5 aura types that you can discover within the people in your life, why they're here, what they're doing, what their purpose is, and how you can recognize yourself and bring yourself in alignment with your energetic body. Let's go. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 different auras so that you understand how to utilize them correctly, align with your highest purpose, and express them in a way that allows you to connect to your soul's true path. If you're curious to understand how the energetic body works, how you can support the people in your life better, your children, your partner, your family, and how you can use this information to further your own spiritual growth, then stick around. Let's dive deep. If you haven't subscribed yet and you enjoy this content, I'm gonna give you a moment to do that because this community is growing every day and I couldn't be more excited to bring you juicy, honest, and applicable, energetic, spiritual information right onto your screen. In this video, I'm going to break down the 5 different auras and the understanding of what you can do with this information to start aligning your purpose, aligning your soul to what this lifetime has in store for you. It will also really deepen the understanding of your authentic capacity to tune into your gifts and purpose, to share them with the world, and contribute to making this place just a little bit better. Let's get into it. If you're new here, my name is Maika Gabriela. I'm a human design leader, a deconditioning expert, and the founder of the Transformational Human Design Certification. And I have supported thousands of people to align with their aura and to attract the right opportunities and chances into their life. We have a brand new free members area called the Upraising Club. There's tons of juicy human design information waiting for you. So don't miss out on this opportunity and join now. Welcome to the Human Design Portal, your safe space to decondition so that you can remove resistance and start enjoying a fulfilling, energetically aligned life. So already we're starting off strong because I'm saying there's 5 different auras. When through the human design perspective, originally we say that there's 4 kinds of auras. And I'm going to explain this and I'm going to break this down. So initially there's 4 types of aura. We have the projector, which is a penetrative aura, and I'm going to go into each of them further along the line. But I just want to take a moment to express and explain why, for me, it's really important to talk about the 5 energy types and the 5 auras. So, first is the projector with a penetrative aura. Then we have the generator that has an open enveloping aura. And so then we have the manifesting generator energy type that in the OG human design and like the Windows 95 version of human design, it was categorized as a subcategory to the generator. But the manifesting generator, from the name already, we can pull out that this is a hybrid between the generator and the manifestor, and together they make this unique energy type. And so I have never enjoyed this concept that the manifesting generator is a subcategory to the generator, because my in real life effing experience is that manifesting generators, they deserve their own podium. Like, the energy is so specific of manifesting generators that I have no idea how anybody could come up with them being just a subcategory. Like, I get it. They're a subcategory because their strategy to align with the universe to manifest the life they dream of is exactly the same like the generator. It's a signal response, right? So strategy, not self-theme, and signature are the same for the generator and the manifesting generator because both of them are sacral beings, meaning both of them are defined in the sacral center area, which is a motor center which defines consistent energy, which is a very important part of your energetic kind of roadmap in human design. But if you've ever met a manifesting generator, you will notice that they feel completely different. And I'm not an expert in seeing auras specifically, even though I've seen auras and I've practiced seeing auras. What I can definitely say is that I sense them. And it's interesting because I literally just got a DM this morning from a girl who is in my training, and she's like, I'm starting to identify the auras of the people around me. And I'm like, yes, small wins. Woo. Anyways, so we have a manifesting generator that is in a hybrid between the generator and the manifestor, and it deserves its own kind of explanation, and we'll get into that. But it also has an enveloping open aura, but I still feel that there's a crispness. I always see like these kind of like spikes coming out of the manifesting generator's aura. Like there is an intensity that the generator doesn't have. And then we have the manifestor, and the manifestor actually has a closed off aura. And so I think it's quite interesting to get into the specifics of each. Last but not least, we have the 1% of the population, which is the reflector, which has an aura that is described as a Teflon. So the aura of the reflector is open and nothing will stick to it because it's here to savor everything, but not to identify with one specific thing. So in the following video, I'm going to get into all of the specifics of every energy type in their aura and what effect it has on other people and what it's meant to learn in this lifetime. The projector aura is focused and penetrative, meaning that this is an aura that is highly attuned to understanding the person that they have in front of them. This is an energetic that is constantly trying to penetrate and assess and trying to discover who is the person behind the mask. And so projectors have this incredible capacity to constantly be connecting to the soul of the person they have in front of them. So they feel magnetized. Projectors' aura feel magnetized towards what we call the personality center in our human design. And if you don't know how your human design body graph looks like, you can find your free human design chart inside the Upraising Club, our new free member area. So go check it out. And so this personality center is where the soul is meant to be reincarnated. At least that's what they say. And so the projector is always trying to figure out, who are you? What is your purpose? What are your gifts? What are the beautiful qualities that reside in your soul? And so the projector's aura is really here to see you better than they can see themselves and better than you can see yourself. And that is quite interesting because it ties back to the purpose, to the energetic purpose of the projector. Because the energetic purpose of the projector is to see and to guide others. And the only way projectors can see and guide others is by actually helping them succeed. When projectors put their effort into helping others succeed, they will reap success as well. They will get benefits from that as well. But it is all about really understanding that this penetrative focused aura that the projector has is to be able to see things way deeper than anybody else can. And so projectors will thrive in one-on-one conversations. And this doesn't mean that you can't hold, group meetings or be on stage or like all of these things. But there's something about the quality of your conversations and the way that you will feel personally when you're sitting down one-on-one, because you will be able to like slowly pull the curtains away from the person in front of you and get to the depth of them. And I'm a projector and I have to smile because it is really one of my favorite things to do, is really allowing my energetic body to do what it's meant to be doing, right? To really allow it to go deep within the person in front of us. And we always have to be respectful because we have to wait for the invitation to be able to share what we see. But there is an innate exchange that happens when somebody comes to us, when somebody's sitting in front of us, when we've attracted a person that opens up to us. And so utilizing your energy, your aura to really deeply penetrate a person. And if we take this into like a romantic context, for example, there's something to be said about being loved by a projector. And this can be sexually, this can be intimately, this can be romantically, or this can be just like in a pure platonic way. But people get addicted to projectors because they finally see themselves for who they know they are, but never had the courage to actually express it. Or they get in touch through your reflection, through the projector's reflections, with their soul's essence. Or through the conversation with the projector, people start really resonating with their personal truth, start really coming into who they've come to be and allowing themselves to express their needs, express their desires, express their dreams. Because as a projector, you're able to really show them all of the incredible and beautiful things that they have to offer in this lifetime. And so just by sitting down with somebody and allowing your aura to do the thing, it can also be tricky for projectors, because I always say for projectors, it's extremely dangerous to fall into the trap of like loving somebody for their potential, because we always only see the potential of everything and anyone. But it is really beautiful for the person experiencing that penetrative aura. That there is this true sense of feeling seen for who we are that we all crave so much. And that is another pain point for projectors specifically, because often projectors are like, I see you so clearly. Why does nobody see me, right? If the projector is still in bitterness mode and hasn't self-seen and realized their own worth, and they're still very, like focused on trying to get recognition from the outside instead of nourishing their own recognition for themselves, they're gonna feel like, hi, it's me, please see me, because their aura is penetrative and can't just like catch people's attention like that. It moves like honey. It's like slow and steady and heavy, and it inundates you and takes out all of the important information and leaves you feeling nourished and sweet, and your cup is full. That is how I describe the Projector Aura. Let's get into the Generator Aura. So the Generator Aura is an open, enveloping aura. This aura is deeply creative, is deeply feminine, is very receiving, but it's also very giving. And so the generator's base in energy is really all about creating joy. It comes from the sacral center that is connected to pleasure and creativity. And so the beautiful thing of the generator aura is that everybody who meets a generator, when that generator is lit up and they're excited about what they do and they're living authentically, the person will leave with a little bit more of a joy, with a little bit more of energy. And often the generator doesn't see that because, you go grab a coffee with your generator friend and then you leave with this little skip in your step and you don't even know why. And that's just because you were hanging out with a generator. So the generator will increase your energy. It will increase your life force. It will increase your joy. Being around a generator makes you laugh, makes you smile. They have this kind of like joie de vivre. They're these people that with their energetic body are constantly kind of contagious. And that's when they're lit up. When a generator is doing what they're meant to be doing, what they're excited about their life, when they're tapped into their juiciness, they have this kind of like magnetic aura that is pulling the right people and opportunities towards them. And us, peasants that don't have a sacral defined, or anybody actually, will feel drawn to a generator because they just have this magnetic pull. And you want to know like, oh, what's happening there? What's the juice, literally? Like, give me all of the info. What's the tea? Like, why are you so lit up? Why are your eyes sparkling? Why is your smile just illuminating the room today? And that is the generator energy. They will just allow you to tap into this joy for life, this creative force. Living for the pure joy of living is what gets translated in the aura. So the energetic body and the aura of the generator is really like, I always explain, it's like this hurricane. It has this feminine, magnetic pull towards it so it can attract the right people and opportunities. But at the same time, everybody who gets in contact with that aura kind of gets this little spark of joy and excitement and like, oh, life is amazing. Oh my God, this is so fun. And it like awakens our capacity for joy. It awakens our capacity for adventure. It awakens our capacity to tap into our own desires and feel what it is to have a real burst of longing or a burst of creativity, or just this like very feminine, sensual energy that is so enriching to our life. And so, the reason I always say we need generators to be free so they can be lit up is because the more aligned generators we have, the more the whole world will benefit. So generators and manifesting generators are around 70% of the population. So anybody who has a defined sacral, we need them to be free. We need them to be full of joy. We need them to live out their best life because we are taking in that energy and amplifying it. And so the health of a generator in our society in its capacity as a whole, the way that their energetic body works and the way that we interact with the energetic body and the aura of the generator is going to be what sets the bar for the general well-being of our society. So if you're a generator, make sure that you're excited and you're living a joyful, juicy life so that other energy types that don't have a defined sacral can take that energy in and amplify it and contribute to the world in a more positive, light, juicy, fun, and adventurous way. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we get to the controversial part. Okay, let's go into the manifesting generator. Here's the thing. From the textbooks, the manifesting generator's aura is described the same way the generator's aura is described. And I'm just going to go here from my personal experience and from my feedback that I've accumulated from all the manifesting generators in my life, which are plenty, okay? And the thousands, and then let's say hundreds of manifesting generator clients. thousands of clients in general, hundreds of them were manifesting generators or are manifesting generators. Manifesting generators, even though their strategy is responding and it's the same like the generators, they have an open, enveloping, very magnetic, very charismatic, very seductive energy. The manifesting generator's aura, even though it's also here to spark joy, to tap into creativity, to inject life force into other people, there is an aspect of force, dominance, and intensity that the generator doesn't have. There is a masculine trait to the aura of the manifesting generator that the generator doesn't have. The generator feels like a soft, warm summer breeze. The generator feels like this reliable source of like, you know, a hug. There's a softness, there's a feathery tuneness. There is just this very deep, light, feminine quality to it. And the manifesting generator's aura, even though strategy is the same, the way that they feel is different. And you can let me know in the comments if you think that I'm completely wrong. But this is my YouTube channel, and I get to share what I want on this channel. Oh, it feels so good. But what I'm saying is that this is just like, I cannot explain it in any way. Manifesting generators have this feminine quality, but there is an intensity to it. There's a strength to it. There's a bad bitch vibes to it. And I feel for females, it stands more out than for males, probably because males just have an inherent masculine energy, so it doesn't, you know, come up as much as like through the female prototype of a manifesting generator. And so the manifesting generator does have, I see spikes, okay? You can tell me whatever you want. I see spikes. And I feel this masculine, dominant, intense energy. And it's kind of like a whirlwind. It's kind of like a Tasmanian Taz. It's kind of just like, you know, spinning around itself. And it's a very intense energy to have around. As somebody who is neurodivergent, I love that kind of energy. Give me more manifesting generators in my life. No, don't give me more. I have enough on my plate with the ones that I have. But I think this is just really important to understand. To me, there is a difference. And, you know, I think it's really important with human design information to be able to continue to have integrity with the information that we share. But I also think it's important to not be dogmatic and allow the consciousness of the world to evolve with the information. Because in the end of the day, that information got channeled through a person in a specific moment of time with a specific consciousness. And since then, consciousness has been changing, awareness has been changing, and our insights are changing. And so I feel like it is totally, this is my point of view, you can have a different point of view, and that it's totally viable to integrate this new consciousness in this non-dogmatic way with the human design system. At the end of the day, I always say, take what serves you, throw away what doesn't serve you. But this is for me a truth that cannot be denied, that the manifesting generators are very intense and have an electricity about them that generators don't have. Come for me in the comments. Peace. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with me today, guys. Okay, next off, we have the manifestor. Okay, manifestors are so fascinating to me. And I think the manifestor aura is just such an incredible, interesting thing to dig into. And it's probably because I'm a projector. And so naturally, my whole purpose is to like be able to see people deeply and penetrate. But I always come across that closed, penetrative aura of the manifestor. So the aura of the manifestor is a closed aura. The manifestor of the aura is also often described as repellent, and I never use that word because I feel like it has a very negative connotation, but it is outside pushing, it is forward moving. And so the way that manifestors experience this, and I think it's important for you to understand even if you're not a manifestor, because I see this in my daughter, for example, right? So what will happen is that, you know, imagine mostly generators, manifesting generators are hanging together in the playground and they have an open enveloping aura. And together they're opening up their aura and they're playing together. And then, you know, maybe they're hanging out in front of the class and then the manifestor comes to it. The moment the manifestor wants to join the group, the others take a step back. And so if I'm watching this as a mother of a manifestor child, it is actually kind of heartbreaking for me to see that only the energetic movement of her coming closer makes others take a step back. It's kind of wild to watch. And I've been watching this on a playground, since 5 years, or 5 years. And so that's what's happening with the manifestor. So the manifestor has this constant deep belief that nobody's able to see them, because energetically it is actually really hard for us to see them unless they inform. When a manifestor informs and uses the strategy, what happens is that they open this little door within their closed aura. And when the manifestor opens this little door in their closed aura, we can actually look and see what's happening inside, what's happening behind. And that allows us to have access to a bit of what's happening with the manifestor. But if you meet somebody and you don't really know what's happening, and you feel like you have a sense of the person, but there's information from the background that's missing. Could be a couple of things. Could be they have a fifth line, but mostly probably because they're a manifestor, and it's really hard to penetrate. And they say nobody can penetrate the manifestor's aura. I do believe that the closest that comes to really deeply seeing a manifestor, even if it's just recognizing them for their closed aura, is going to be the projector. By far, the bestest couples that I've seen work over a long time frame in romantic relationships is a manifestor female and a projector male. There's something about this combination that is chef's kiss. Doesn't mean you can't date outside of those energy types. I'm just saying this is the one that I've seen that is proved and improved. Proven and approved. Well, you know what I mean. So as a manifestor, the experience is going to be, because you have a closed-off aura, your purpose is actually here to kick other people's butts. Your aura is here to push people forward. In the way that you show yourself and in the way that your energetic body works as a manifestor, you're meant to step in and people move forward. But it's not supposed to be in a way that feels negative towards you. It's not supposed to be in a way that feels rejected towards you. But it's actually in a way to further society. It's actually in a way to further people in their own journey. It's actually that kick they need to jump up and finally do the thing they said they were going to do that they're not doing. It's serving you to be in a position of leadership. It's serving you in a way to further your vision, your dreams, your spark for the world, right? You have these inner creative urges that are meant to be experienced in the world. And so as a manifestor with your closed aura, when you walk towards people outward pushing, you're actually just come on guys, let's do it, let's get it done, move, get your shit together. That's your energy. And so what happens in the experience of the manifestor, which I think is one of the most fascinating things that I came across when I started studying human design, and I started having readings, and I started comparing and having my own experience with the actual material, is that I saw, and this was my mind was blown. I didn't realize when I was studying human design how similar the body graph of the manifestor and the projector look like. I feel like they're the ones that are the closest, even though energetically from their aura, from their energetic perspective, they're opposites. A projector is super soft. It's the most feminine energy. It's the most passive energy. It needs to wait for the invitation. The manifestor is the most masculine expression of its energy, divine masculine energy, the most quote-unquote aggressive, the most forward-thinking, the most initiating. So even though they act with opposite strategies to collaborate with the universe to get what their soul is meant to experience in this lifetime, when you look at their roadmap, when you look at their body graph, when you look at the core material, it looks very similar. And so what happens is that the manifestor is so highly sensitive. The manifestor's life experience is actually really intense because we perceive the manifestor as closed. So we're it doesn't matter. We can throw whatever at the manifestor. They're closed. There's no emotion. We don't know what's happening. There's no reactivity. There's no nothing, a manifestor can do great with even pollution and eating shitty food. They have a robust kind of actual body. And so we often don't notice how sensitive and highly attuned manifestors are because we experience them from the outside world through this closed aura. But the experience from the manifestor within that aura is so different because you're not manifestors. We're not manifestors to the manifestors. We have penetrative auras and open auras and, all of these things. So the manifestor experiences the world violently intense because we are not able to recognize their sensitivity and think they're all closed off and strong. But their own openness in their human design chart, which is very common, they have a very, very open, sensitive, taking in kind of like body graph. They really absorb a lot of the feelings, thoughts, stress, intuitions from others. Like they have an extremely open chart, most of them. So it is a very big contrast to be a manifestor in this world, in their aura and how their aura works. So they're here to be in leadership. They're here to take responsibility. They're here to push people along. But often they feel misunderstood because they have the closed aura, they haven't learned to inform, and people are kind of not matching the energy that they're feeling inside. And so I think it is a really like, you know, a very karmic lesson to have a life experience as a manifestor in this lifetime. And if you are a manifestor or you have a manifestor in your life, I'd love for you to leave in the comments your thoughts about this, because it is something that I feel so little people speak about. Let's talk about the reflector aura. And I love talking about the reflector aura because I know a lot of you are like, where's your reflector content? And when I do the 5 energy types, you're always there. But I think it's quite interesting because I feel there's a lot of misconceptions around the reflector aura. And so the reflector is very rare. There's only 1% of reflectors out there. And that is one of the motives why a lot of reflectors feel like there's not enough information about them. And there's a general karmic relationship with reflectors and then feeling not seen, which is always very cute. When you know, there's a post about reflectors on my Instagram and they're like, where's the reflector? And I'm like, just swipe the slide, please, you will find content for you. But I feel you, I love you, and that's why we're talking about your aura now. So what happens with the reflector aura? The reflector is a very special energy type. That is the only energy type that is ruled by the moon. And so the reflector has a completely different body graph. The body graph of the reflector is always completely open, but it can have gates activated. Sorry, definitely no channels. It can have gates activated, but there is no definition. And so the reflector aura is said to be sampling and trying. And so what the reflector is here to do, right? The energetic purpose of the reflector is to mirror back the conditions of the people they're surrounding themselves with, the environment they're in, and society at large. And so the reflector has this capacity of taking in the person's energetic authenticity, the person's energetic expression of self, and mirroring it back to them. So their aura acts like Teflon, meaning they will absorb the energy of the environment, they will absorb the energy of the person in front of them and hold it up for the moment that they are in front of them so that they can be reflected, and then it's their job to let go of that. And so reflectors really have this very high sensitivity when it comes to their energetic body, when it comes to food intolerance, when it comes to feeling overstimulated, when it comes to finding the right environment. Environment is huge for the reflector, because if there's something that's wrong in the environment of the reflector, because the reflector is taking it in, it's kind of like it becomes part of the reflector. Reflectors have a very high sensitivity to, you know, world issues, climate issues. Like, it doesn't matter. Everything that is affecting the world feels heavy on the reflector. And because the reflector is so open, they can get confused into understanding how much is their shit and how much is stuff they're taking on from people that they're meeting and crossing their path, whose aura they're taking in, whose aura they're amplifying, whose aura they're mirroring back. So it is really imperative for a reflector to understand how much is outside conditioning, how much am I taking in from the outside, and what is actually mine, what belongs to me. And so having big spaces to empty out, to be by yourself, to be alone as a reflector and cleanse your aura is incredibly important so that you can continue to tap into your authenticity and you don't get lost in the constant reflection and mirroring of environments and people that you meet. And so what is quite interesting is, though, even though reflectors are highly sensitive to the environment, they're actually not that sensitive to conditioning, because when they're living out correctly, nothing will stick. They will be a clear example of what they grew up with, like that is very clear. But as they are maturing, as they're, moving through the world, as they're becoming their own person, they won't have too much things that are stuck to them. They will open up their energetic centers to just really try, taste, have a moment of realization, and then spit the truth into your face, and then let go of all the shit that doesn't belong to them and move on with their life. And so reflectors have to be really aware of, who they let in their life, what kind of people they're surrounding themselves with, and having a very clear method of decompressing and cleansing their energetic aura so that they don't keep on living and carrying heaviness that doesn't belong to them. I absolutely love understanding each person's aura, and I think now that you have a bit of a sense of it, really tune into it when you're meeting people and try to kind of figure out what kind of senses that you're getting around these people. It can be super fun to start guessing what energy type, what aura somebody has, and then looking at the chart calculator that you can find their upraising member area and figure out like, oh, this person is exactly what I thought they would be. And so if you've enjoyed this video, or if you think this information could be useful to anyone, please share it with them. Please like and subscribe. It means the world to see this community grow. If you have any questions or suggestions on what themes I could talk about next, please leave them in the comments below. And remember, I don't care what anybody says. I love you.